Yo, it's Big Guafin. You're not tuning in to I Told You So. And I got some special guests in the building. Talk to me. Who we here with today?
You got R.Baron. It's TK.
Picaso.
We got the homie Trub. And we got Young Global in the back. So you got R.Baron, Money Court, Joints Only, Up and On One. Ooh, a bunch of shit. A lot of units, a whole bunch of things in here, man.
Yeah, you know, I really wanted to start this off by trying to present what exactly you guys do and all the things that you guys are touching to make, you know, the bigger picture happen for the R.Baron group. How would you describe what you guys do?
We just really just finders of the finders. We push the culture. You know, TK is really big on the business side of things. I'll help out with the creative. Really about having an eye, really about having an ear, and really about just being selective what you want to do and things that align with how we think.
That's right.
You know, and using all of our, you know, things that we've done and been successful with to keep pushing the narrative of, you know, this is the young, fresh shit that you need to be on. You know what I'm saying?
So you like helping push the narrative?
Yeah, hell yeah, for surely.
Okay, I respect that.
Especially like, you know, us, you know, being a part and help pushing the wave of a whole new wave of artists, you know, 6-7 years ago that now has
Up to right now.
Yeah, up to now. You know, everybody that's here is the, you know, the lineage of that first wave that, you know, started with Greedo, Shoreline, Draco, Sting Team.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I do want to get into that. What about you, TK? I tried to do some research, and every time I hear you speak on what you do, it's so many things. Like, how would you summarize what you do?
Man, I can't. I don't do one thing. So I think in life, me and you was talking off camera.
Yep.
And you was like, you know, I got this is my main income source. This is additional streaming source of income. Basically, for me, I want to do what I want to do for the rest of my life. And the first thing that I love is the music culture, and I figured out the business culture. So now I love the business side as much as I love the culture side. So for me, it's figuring out how you get paid off what you love, off of everything, whether it's us building a studio, whether it's us saying, like, just say we wanted to get into podcasting.
Yes, sir.
Then we would have to come into a way, how do we become, what is our DNA? Like, if everybody got these type of TV screens, Picasso, how would you design that? Trub, what would you want the background to be? What artists would we bring in? You know, when we built our studio, you know, that was really like me and Trub coming together, having a vision, him working with some top people that build studios, and us having a vision from laying the floor to the ceiling to soundproofing the walls, everything to the lights that are in the walls. Everything was built on a vision. So, you know, I've had the opportunity since the mid-90s to be in LA and work with all these different styles, so in different eras. So for me, it's just about, you know, shit, what I'm gonna do 2 years from now to make money, what I'm gonna do 5 years from now to make money, what are we doing 6 months from now to make money. Me and P have money calls every day. People, I think motherfuckers be sleeping on, man, if it's $10, run me my $10.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If it's $1, run me my $1. If it's 1,000, run me my thou wow. If it's 100 bando, I need that 100 bander. If it's a milli, run me my milli. Whatever it is, run it to me. And I think one of the things as I get older, I want to be more, I want to create the narrative about not only making money, but keeping money. Because we live in California, we just said this. Man, if you're an artist and you get a multi-million-dollar deal, you never did taxes before, you come from a family, the tax time in every ghetto in America is a holiday. When you get money, it's not a holiday.
Nah, hell no,
you got to pay these motherfuckers, and you think of ways that you can alleviate that. So one of the things that me and P talk about, you know, we broke a cycle of poverty in our immediate families, not through education. So you do have a lot of people, they able to break, you know, what they call the generational curse. They go to school, you know, and in a prior generation, they would say, have what they consider good jobs. We were able to break the generational curse by putting out music and doing cultural things that, you know, a lot of people can't do. So when you say, I don't have one set thing, I just want to keep doing that. I want to make movies that don't nobody think will sell. I want to make, you know, I was watching the R. Kelly shit last night on Hulu or something. That shit had me sick to my stomach. But the fact is, somebody made that, and I know the person who was behind that, one of the main producers, She was at one time one of the greatest hip hop writers. Her name is Dream Hampton. And this ain't no shot on Dream or nothing like that, you know. I'm just saying you never know where shit is gonna take you. Wherever it takes me, I wanna be the person that manifests my destiny on doing the business. And we don't talk about that enough. We don't have enough people that focus on that. So I don't got no one job. I got as many jobs as I'm a Jamaican, Haitian, African, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you could put on, I'm all that. You know what I mean?
You know, I think from the outside looking in, because I know that there's so many different gears that are turning in your business. It comes down to you being the dude that's into the creative side and him being the dude that handles the business, takes care of business. I think that's what the outside world sees the both of you guys as far as your influence, because the things that you guys are doing for Los Angeles is so monumental and instrumental to everything. You know, you could even argue that I wouldn't be doing this without you guys putting out the music that you guys have put out. You get what I'm saying? So for the people that aren't hip to what's going on, who's on the roster right now?
I always like to say who we've helped and who we've managed.
Right.
So if you look at it like that, Shoreline Mafia, Draco the Ruler, 03 Greedo, who we manage to this day. Shout out to our good people. 03 Greedo is home. Ron, the producer, the Hip Mob, Loaded Great, Ace to Face at one time, Jug for the Record at one time. Baby Smooth, shout out to Baby Smooth out there in the D.
Bruce 24K.
Bruce 24K out here. One Take J at one time. AZ Chike is still with us. Shout out to Chike and the Colt.
Wally the
Sensei with Brickyard Boys. Shout out to Jay West. By the time y'all see this, we'll have a sold out Roxy show tomorrow night. YS from Compton.
Shout out YS.
At one time. Yeah.
ASM
Bobster, who's with us right now. Who had the hit record of the summer last year with I Like the Way You Move. Spank Nitty James. We got him with shout out to Mitchie Slick and Hit Boy. Shout out to the whole Surf Club and Def Jam. Man, can never forget Free Our Little Homie. Money Sign Sway.
Yes, sir.
He's on our label, The Machine Works on Atlantic. We had Helliver, the super producer, over there as well. We manage Notorious Migo, one of the dopest producers. He's from the Inland Empire. We work with MIAJC, with The Circle, and Dev. So that's Detroit and Seattle. We had Angel, who's from Seattle.
He did the closer last song on Greedo's last mixtape and the last song on Wally's last mixtape.
So he's the closer. We call him the closer.
Yeah. I heard that record. I heard the Sensei record.
Yeah, and it's crazy, bro. He likes something different we never dealt with. But let me just keep going. Remain Real Tommy in Detroit, The Circle 2. I'm helping out D Flowers, meaning us, down in Houston, Texas. Man, it be so many people.
Wow.
Dope Shit Only down in Nashville. What else in the D? T. Pringle in Helliver.
Shout out T. Pringle.
Shout out T. Him and Helliver just dropped something on Helliver label.
Right.
Independently.
Okay.
Through us. Synergy Records, that's Energy made this, the producer.
Energy made this beat.
Yep. Shout out to Mo B, shout out to Sid. So we have a partnership with them on the independent record label. Let me see.
Wow.
Joints Only with Picasso. It's so much shit, I ain't gonna lie. Shout out Just Incredible.
Joints Only is me and Just Incredible. We released 2 tapes so far. The first one was with R3 the Chili Man. And the second one was with ASM Bobster. And the third one you'll see when it comes out.
Yeah.
The third one you'll see when it comes out. Man, I wanna. Wow, that's a roster, man.
And that's I ain't finished. Roster. That's just off the top of the head. I know
off the top of the head. Yeah, straight up. God damn, man. I'm trying to catch up. You know, I want to touch base on where we are today, but I want people to understand who you guys are and where you guys are from, so that we can get a better understanding of what led you to have this kind of mind for music. So, my brother, where are you from?
Well, I'm from 2 different places. You know, my family root comes from the South, which is, you know what I'm saying, Louisiana and Texas. Then they migrated to South Central Los Angeles. You know, grew up in the 60s over there. And my mom's grew up over there, and she was like, she had me and was like, I don't want you being a gang member.
Right.
So we moved to Walnut. Diamond Bar area.
Yes, sir.
Every summer, I stay at my grandmother's house for 3 months. Every summer, then I go back to school. So I had the best of both worlds. I was able to mingle with all different kind of ethnicity, cultures, which I felt made me a lot of well-rounded more than everybody else kind of around me at the time. Then then I moved to LA full-fledged at my grandmother's house when I was 18, when I graduated. And I've been here ever since. So it was always like a back and forth thing with me.
Right, but you're Los Angeles.
LA,
Straight
You're Los
LA.
Angeles, bro.
I'm a LA.
Yeah, you're Los Angeles.
10,000%.
For sure. You understand, bro. Somebody from Los Angeles, we can immediately tell, we can smell it on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's dope.
One thing I will say is I started off with a lot of people, a big group of people at a period of time, and I continue to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because I really love music. Like, ever since I was a little kid, my mom had records. I would tape fucking radio shows on cassette tapes, tape Rap City. I was always putting people on new music.
Right.
Ever since a kid, all the way through high school, middle school, all that shit. So I dreamed of this shit. Little real dreams that came to reality. So
absolutely.
And I didn't get it when I was, in my 20s. I didn't pop up till I was in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? In terms of being successful, attaching to something that made noise on a major level. So you got to keep going.
Right.
Shout out to my brother Crondon. He used to say, "Let's keep going, LKG." You got to keep going, bro. You know?
Wow. The man, it's dense because I understand again, bro, what you're saying to the T. And then TK, I know that you're from
Tennessee. That's where I was born at. But okay. I'm a nomad. So I always be telling people I'm on some if you ever read like Huckleberry Finn, or I can't remember that nigga name. Some shit with Mark Twain.
I didn't read
Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry, some shit.
Yeah, that's what
they was like little kids that got. So I left Tennessee. I was born in Tennessee in the South, and I always, my mom and my pops from the Midwest, and my mama family from down south, but up top what we would consider New York. So I've been around hip hop my entire life. It's like my whole upbringing was up top and down south, and then as a teenager, I moved to Detroit, and from Detroit, I went to New York for a minute, and then brought it to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta, I came here. But I'm leaving. I didn't go to the prom. I didn't go to high school football. Like, by the 9th grade, I was a grown man. I was with grown motherfuckers, fighting grown motherfuckers, doing everything you could think of at 15 years old. I jumped off the porch, as they say, at 14 years old. And I grew up with a dude at the time in the mid-'80s. He was from Inglewood. That's my nigga Tapes. Shout out Tapes. And in the South, if you just say you had a mustache, they'd be like, that nigga named Harry. And people from other time be like, what, Harry? You might actually think this nigga named Harry. They calling you Harry because you got a hairy lip. Just some shit like that. So they call this nigga Tapes. Because he had, I'm going to tell you why they call him Tapes. He had K-Day tapes.
Okay.
And K-Day in the 80s was the most popping, even more so than New York, because New York didn't have 24/7 hip hop. Shout out to K-Day, 1580. That was the #1 hip hop station in America, 1580. And it was up on the hill. All the artists in the 80s that was ever somebody had to come through LA and do their promo run at K-Day. Wow. So at the same time, I'm listening to the East Coast tapes, the Molly Malls and things of that nature, and going to New York and experiencing hip hop culture and living like I'm from an era of nothing but hip hop. Rap came after, gangster rap came. Like when I first grew up, it was just hip hop, break dancing, graffiti, all that type of shit. But I was there as soon as I heard LA gangster rap. The South and LA, they like country cousins. There's like a brotherhood. Like I think Texas, for people in LA, or just say the West Coast, that signifies that bond. Like me and you was just talking. Like California people can get down in Texas. Texas people can get down in Cali. It's different. And when I heard Ice-T, Ice Cube, really Eazy-E. I met Eazy-E when I was 14 years old. He was with some drug dealers from another part of town that I knew, and they was just like, they had the nigga around like he was like a, I mean, he was like walking around. It was ill because Boys in the Hood was out, and he was little and he was fresh. This is before they had what Blue Da Vinci was saying in that interview, the uniform. Before they had the uniform, they was just LA niggas, and he had on the Fila deck shoes, and he had on some cool little khakis, not even no Dickies or nothing. He had that, and he had the Fila jacket on, and he had his curl, and he had the chain was out, You know what I mean? He was popping it. Just hella fresh. He was dummy fresh. And we was walking, because you gotta remember in the South, niggas didn't have, it wasn't no definitive, it was a local style. We didn't really have no definitive style. So he's walking around and everybody's kind of following him. He's like in a skating rink. I'm not really, I'm there because I know them. And when I saw just how he was, I was like, that's why I like seeing New York. I ain't gonna lie, if you ever seen New York is so fast paced that most people can't do it. And it's such a pace of life that if you're not committed to that, it's not even where you need to be at. You see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta like, oh man, it's 20 degrees outside, but I'm not walking around. I need to get my driver to pull up. You gotta be like that, or you gotta be prepared to thug it out and might have to get in fight with a homeless nigga and a rat might jump on your lap. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. It's the environment. I love it. But people don't, the average American motherfucker wants a house.
Right.
You know, they want a backyard. They want cars and vehicles to move around. It's just not it. So, yeah, to make your start, I'm from everywhere. So, I had the New York experience, the Detroit experience. In my late teens, I got to go to Atlanta and soak that game up. And then from Atlanta, in my early 20s, we made it out here. And this is where I first felt at home. Like other places, I felt like it was it. I've been so in tune with LA from the like I just was in tune with LA. It's just something that I was drawn to. The level, the real, what you just said, like, you know somebody from LA. It's this thing when you come out here, and it's a couple of people. I could tell you, I don't want to put, it's a couple of people that's not born from out here that came out here and made their lives. Pac made us. I don't know how Pac was out here under 5 years.
Right.
Right.
I had that conversation with somebody the other day.
He was out here under 5 years, and he soaked everything up you could do in years. I mean, literally. If he came out here in 92 or 91, you gotta remember he died in 96, and the nigga did a year in jail. So you gotta understand that, and he did a year shooting all the movies in New York. So that's like, he's coming back and forth from here. If you, like, LA is like, you go with it or you go against it. Right. So I used to always have this thing, we call them sneaky niggas. You got a lot of niggas from maybe, cause I'm with the New York crew is that's part of my family and my heritage. So I would never denounce that. But you got people, they would not want to come to the real parts of LA. You got hood niggas everywhere and they like, I want to come. But you might got niggas that's like, look, bro, I all that shit I described, I came from that, nigga. I need to be somewhere tucked in the valley. Right. And then they kids or they people might be the ones that's like, I don't like LA. It has no culture. And you like, nigga, you in the valley. Yeah, exactly. You're not in LA. You're not around a cultural fan base or nothing that's gonna give you like what we doing. Like what we, like you said, if you Bangladeshi and you on third, right? And you go to the little Bangladeshi, you go to or if you go to what's the shit in Artesia. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, you know something.
Bro, I know some
Bro, looked
shit.
at me, he was like, I know you're South Asian. You're Bengali, huh? What?
You don't have too many black people gonna give you that.
Nah,
you feel me? But
not too many people in general.
In general. And then I was talking to him about where he was from and his tribe. I'm a world traveler. So when like I said, living as a young person, you don't have money, you don't got nothing. All I had was my think box. All I had was my brain. All I had was the knowledge that I wasn't gonna fail. I'm never like, you can't, and that's what we bring to the music. So yeah, as somebody that done been everywhere, this is my motherfucking home. This is what I put on for. This is that. So nigga been out here almost 30 years. I've been out here since my whole adult life I've been in LA. That's all I know. The first house we had was 2 blocks down on Romaine. Right. I brought my daughter home from the hospital, right, at the fucking hospital next to Children's Hospital, and brought her home 15 years ago in November, right over here. And this shit was hot as a firecracker. Yep. And I had to get in. I left over here because we literally, got into some conflict, me and my baby mama, with some gang members over here. They was looking for him, and we gave him what they was looking for. Exactly. And then we left. That's how I met him. I met him in Lamar Park.
Okay, boom. Yeah, and for people who aren't familiar, where is that?
Southwest LA.
Crenshaw District, man.
I know, I'm sure at first, was it just into music? It was a music, like, oh, you guys both like music and that's how you guys linked up? Or how did that go?
Pete, we loosely affiliated. Everybody in this room is loosely affiliated through being around somebody that knows somebody. So I knew P was just an ill culture nigga. Yeah. Even before I knew him, he was just somebody. He was on blogs. He had groups. He just was somebody that was in the loop. He's always been in the loop. And because he's younger than me, P was, you know, he was just amongst a generation that actually, I personally feel like it's two generations that niggas don't get a props to. And that's the New West movement, which was like the early 2000s to like the mid. And then, I don't know if I want to say blog rap. What would you say? Is it blog rap? LA blog rap? I don't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, I would say blog. Yeah.
It was this blog rap. And this was in the beginning of the Kendrick. Right. So you had Kendrick, you had Nipsey was a part of that wave. So, but I'm talking about like
Pac Div,
2007, 8, 9, 10. That when Double XL cover meant something. When you was on a freshman, like the biggest class ever was 2012. Yeah, that's the one with Nip and all them, the Currency and Mac Miller and all them niggas was on there, right? That's probably the biggest class ever, right?
Right.
So 2011 was Pill on that one? They used to be with MMG. Like it was leading in all the things that led into that. There was a group of LA rappers that I felt that ushered that in that didn't really make it to that. Maybe Nip was the only person that made it. Would you say, P?
Yeah,
Nip. Him and Kendrick.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
That because Kendrick really came in through the New West, but he cracked through that little blog rap era, right? And P was a part of that wave, and that shit was because you gotta remember these is South Central kids and LA kids that's going straight to blogs, and they making non-traditional music. Dom Kennedy would be a part of that.
Yeah.
Not really Bad. Bad Luck came up in it. They was Western Union in. Yeah, I would say Bad Luck. I would say Bad Luck. Man, it was so many people. Problem.
Yeah.
Like everybody was just doing it, and it wasn't. The internet was a very new thing in terms of like cracking the way it needed to crack. So that was that, and P was there. So I was up on it. Like I'm watching it. Like like how we in the studio now, and I'm looking at Lil Durk or Swervy or Smack, and I'm looking at all this. I might be in the studio, and they up on the studio. So I'm just peeping a wave, and then one day I popped on the block, and he was there. And I'm like, damn, that's bro. And we just started chopping it up, and we came together on an artist, our sis Raven Sorvino, who was a very valuable lesson for me and P. The first 4 years of our career, we were not successful. And, I mean, to the point, bad not successful. Spending money, no profit, no connections on nothing, like just working. Like she was kind of like, everything was drawn into her, but we didn't have a movement. So because of that, I learned a lot, you know. I know P learned a lot, but we came together, and Raven was a part of that era.
Yep.
She was definitely a part of that era, but it wasn't, I guess to be honest, it wasn't really no center to it. It wasn't like a central business company. It wasn't like a central record label.
Yeah, everybody was doing their own shit.
They was kind of like doing their own thing, you know.
Well, here's what I want to, just not to cut you off.
Yeah.
I do want to understand because you were talking about this 4-year period in time, and it wasn't working. How did you get through that, bro? Like 4 years, it was of, damn, like we're doing it, but like it's not getting us where we need to be.
Just I genuinely love music.
Right.
So it's like, it wasn't even like, it was about being successful and breaking in, but I wasn't like,
he wasn't tripping.
I was doing I lived a whole nother life.
Right.
And my life was great. So, yeah.
You ain't got to explain that one. But to the point where it wasn't even about the money because you're doing genuinely what you love doing.
I really love music. I really love finding shit. I love putting people on to shit. So it was like, I'm just doing something I like to do. He was on the business shit. That shit hurts my head and makes me upset. So
Right.
I was just doing music.
I would say I was tripping just for the simple fact that you can't, like we have conversations now about things. Business is very, very, like the coldest thing about American business, right? Is that shit it's a jug. It's very straight up and down. It's like a jug, but it's straight up and down, right?
Right.
So, like right now, and I don't even know if the listeners, the viewers, you know what's going on with the BRICS?
No.
You familiar with that?
No.
That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
Okay.
They got their own currency. They've pulled away from America, right? And they're forcing other people to pull away from American currency as the dollar being the main currency. And now remember, this is all a judge. I study business. Now, 4 years of trying to do something and constantly keep getting failed, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? That's what I did. It can no longer be what this person is doing wrong. What am I doing wrong? And I asked myself that with mega success, we always go back to say, what did we do wrong initially? What could we have done better? Like, how could we have went triple platinum? We don't have a #1 record yet. We got top records. We got 13 plaques. You know, all kind of
Platinum.
Platinum.
We ain't talking about no gold either.
No, not no gold. And we got more gold. We got gold.
We got gold. But you said,
13 platinum records. So.
Yeah, before we started, I had asked him, I'm like, yo, so what's the gold number looking like? He's like, bro, we going platinum over here.
Yeah, we multi-platinum. So but that's 4 years of struggle. That's 4 years of people telling you they don't get it. So like, imagine like everything now happens so quick. That era that we talking about, 2014, 15, 16, we didn't come up till 17. We didn't start making bread, multi-millions, and doing deals until 18. So 13 a whole year, 14 a whole year, 15, 16, that's 4 years. In that time, from 13, that was YG's album, My Crazy Life, right? And then 16 is the emergence of Playboi Carti. You can't believe how the world changed from 13 to 6. It was like another world. It was insane. Now imagine I'm going over this nigga house. We in South Central, and he's putting me on to Speaker Knockers. God damn it. What was his name? I always say his name wrong.
What that?
Swag Hollywood?
Swag Hollywood, Speaker Knockers, man. Lil Yachty,
said 12,
Playboi
13?
Carti.
That's when like
Kodak
ASAP.
Black.
Oh, ASAP is
ASAP is like 11.
11. Yeah.
11, 12. So shout out, another reason why we are here is through our good brother Chase. Chase was instrumental, Chase Johnson, bridging the gap between, I would say, hip hop and being successful. You know, culture of hip hop, because we from that. Like LA street culture and hip hop culture, we from both of them at the same time. Them 4 years of rejection make you look at shit. Now the world is changing because people are going from downloading shit and going to blogs. Now people going to SoundCloud. So he started, to be honest with you, bro, he was listening to SoundCloud in 13. He was. He's put me up on all. It didn't become a popular thing until like 15. In that 2 year pit, 14, it started doing like this. 15, it was out the roof. I literally remember me and dude going to Interscope with an LA artist, right? And we sat in there, and they was like, I could tell they didn't get it. But as he started, we like, hey man, have y'all heard of Playboi Carti? Have you heard of Little Yacht? They didn't know nothing.
Wow.
We were talking about. They thought we was actually crazy. They was like, man, that's SoundCloud. That shit is not gonna work. That's what they telling us.
Wow.
Yeah. I also remember me and Picaso going to a distribution company and telling them why they needed to give us money to get all these people that eventually would be either platinum, gold, or tastemakers in LA. This is actually 2 years before we started working with them. We were telling them like, yo, you should be listening to this dude. They like, okay, that's cool. What do y'all want? We were like, well, we would like to get 20,000, 15,000, 30,000. We wasn't even asking for nothing back then. They were like, you want us to pay you to market and promote new artists that no one's ever heard? They were like, that's stupid. We would never do that. And they're looking at us like we're crazy. We're telling them, well, y'all don't get it. Like, it's like you spending 10,000 to make $1 million. They don't get it. Nobody got it. So after a while, you stop talking to people and you just start coming up with something. So we knew as our entry, because we had been unsuccessful with an artist, we said, bro, we got to get producers. And that became the focus, to get producers. But once again, we talking about a business plan. Strategy based on failure. And us not being, I don't give a fuck about failure. You're not going to win unless you deal with that. You know, that taught us a lot. And we came into the game. By that time, my bread was up. Pete bread was up. I felt like we came into the game not arrogant, but we came into the game very much. We came to play. And we exhibited that and everything that we had, and it's brought us to this point.
That's right. That's right. So the 4-year stint happens. Now you guys make the strategic plan. I'm gonna start going with the producers. What was the first producer on your team that got some traction for you guys?
Well, TK was focused on that. He had found R.Baron, the producer, which is the sound bed of all this shit.
Okay, shout out R.Baron. We tapped in too.
At the same time, R.Baron, he finds R.Baron right before I think he had the first meeting with him. I tapped in with 03 Greedo.
Oh, damn.
So that's like the...
And help me out, what year is that?
Shit, what year?
17.
17. So he finds R.Baron, the producer.
Through Cypress Moreno.
You find 03.
Yep. I watched the Mafia Business video. It was like at 10,000 views, bro. That's it. 8,000.
Wow.
And then shit, through Trub and some other people. Bad Luck and Trub, I tapped in with him and met him in real life. And from there, the rest is history. That was a mixtape we did. Money Changes Everything. That's where I came in at. So Never Been and all them dope ass records that niggas love. That's where I came in at. We did the fucking artwork wall to where he was working. I taped up a $100 bill, cut a picture of his homie that died, and took a picture of it.
Damn. Okay. And then R.Baron, the producer. How did that connection happen?
Cypress. I used to be part of a weed brand at an office downtown. It was like a central spot. I'm like, yo, we gonna do entertainment. Like I said, you're not making what you want to make. You gotta still do what you gotta do. Me doing what I wanted to do, it was always like to have an entertainment angle to it. I never, like right now, this our brother company. This Gorilla Leaf is right here with us, right? So this is a part of this, our own. So you don't have to have Grappa Leaf. This is 100% natural. It's LA. If you want to support LA, the Gorilla Leaf. Online, check it out on Instagram. So how I have this, and it's just integrated, and I was just
cold.
And I was just waiting for that one moment to do it.
Yeah.
That's how we was doing with the cannabis, and we was waiting for that one moment. Me and Cypress were doing. I think we was doing a show. I can't remember. It was something, and I wanted to get in contact. I saw Ron was doing Draco and the Sting Team and Farsi the Snowman, and I was like, yo, I like that dude. I need to get in contact with him. And Cypress was like, oh yeah, I fuck with him. I'm like, for real? Bring him through the office. And he brought him and Jug. And then the next time they brought the Stinks. And then I took them to something with No Jumper they had for BET weekend, this party. And then it just vibed. All the momentum built up. So I always say that whatever you do to like little bro or somebody that's opening the door, that's probably gonna be the next person that's gonna be a big person in the industry. Cypress is always there with us, and by him opening that door to Ron, it changed, LA music. And then I opened the door for Cypress by letting him the DJ for Shoreline Mafia. That's how he got connected with them.
Okay.
And that put him, but it's back and forth because he gave me that, gave him that. We give each other shit all the time.
Right.
So he it's certain people that's not R.Baron, but they always gonna be R.Baron. Like he's on the Babyface Ray record that's on Greedo record right now.
Right.
That's Cypress. And that's him and P putting that together.
Right. Okay, how does the Shoreline thing happen?
Well, that happens to Ron. TK was talking to Ron one day, like, well, what else do you got? Like, who else do you work with? Or he's like, well, there's these two, the group that stole my beat, and they did a song to it. They ripped my beat off SoundCloud. It got some views. I'm like, yeah, what is it? And he's like, yeah, it's this group called Shoreline Mafia. This shit called Musty. And TK is like, oh shit, man, that shit. Who are these niggas? About the word. Now get me on the phone with them. So from there, TK called Frank. I think Frankie picked up the phone.
Yeah, shout out Frankie.
Yeah, or somebody had picked the phone. Like, yeah, I managed Ron. They're like, yeah, shut up. And they hung up the phone or some shit.
That was OGs.
That was OGs. Okay, that was OGs. Oh yeah. Well, they didn't believe that we managed Ron. We thought they thought it was a scam. And they hung up the phone. Then Ron had to DM like, no, really, that's my real managers. And then we met up with them at Bossa Nova. I believe it was the first meeting. Bossa Nova, right down the street. There was all these niggas looking at us like we was aliens. And what's up, man? And like we fuck with y'all music. Like we doing this shit. That's what we got. We fuck with the Sting Team. That they fuck with the Sting Team super tough. Ron is like, let's try to figure something out. TK was very big on implementing and bringing them to the studio and working with Ron, like to work on a tape or work on something. Shit, the rest is fast, bro. From there, shit.
Right, and so because right at this point now it's Greedo, Shoreline,
Stink team.
and then the Stink Team.
Like Draco was locked
still
up
in
at this
jail.
time.
Oh,
He
at
was in
that
jail.
time.
From the first time he went to jail. Or Cold Devil. This is like when he was doing his first so-called I Do 'Em tapes, when he was going through all that shit out here. No, he was going through a gang of shit, and then they raided his crib. They found what they found, and he went to like a year. So
Right.
this all while he was in jail for that year and a half, all this shit is going on.
Well, you know, Ralphie exemplifies consistency and
on.
dropping music. So I really respect him. Long live Catchy. They really had motion in this city. They had motion,
And they grinded from the bottom. They had nothing, and they made everything on their own. So you got to get it stinks that. You know?
And so at this point, you guys have basically the fucking Avengers of Los Angeles music at this time. Because at this time, there wasn't this new LA sound,
No.
which literally, you know, you guys are
ushering it in.
the Drummers Think Mafia thing was a huge thing in the city. At this point, okay, we have what we need. How do we get these to the people?
Translation.
We got the music. We were working, doing, Picasso was curating at Vice. He was able to take all the SoundCloud music, add the LA stuff. And he has a brand called Young Niggas Rule the World. He hosts a tape from the county jail.
We debuted Never Been on there.
Yeah.
Greedo was like, yeah, Never Been, man. People in the projects fuck with it. He played it for me. I'm like, bro, shit is crazy. I put it on there. Draco did freestyles from the county, popping hot shit.
Right.
Over the jail phone. He
Right.
gave me the record with Desto Dub. Shout out Desto Dub. I'm really proud of Desto Dub. I see him going from the
Oh my
bottom to the
God.
top. He used to live right around the corner from my grandmother, fucking with Overdose and that whole wave. That's another group that's monumental to Los Angeles.
Shout
They
out
didn't really
Overdose.
get they flowers how they should have. Yeah, all that shit was on the same tape and a gang of other records. That shit ended up fucking blowing the fuck up.
When you have these companies, we act as what Picasso said, a translator. And that translation turns into big records, and
Right.
it really works. And our centralized thing at that time was Shoreline. Shoreline was the centralized movement because we made a home base. And always shout out to Atlantic Records. I always want to give a good shout out to Craig and Julie and Lon Ray and Kaiser and Ali B, Austin, and the whole team. And our man Orlando, who was over there at the time, who's one of the presidents over at Capitol right now, Urban Music. We came in, and that was a centralized platform. So that's producers, that's budgets, streaming, that's marketing, that's tours, that's merch. You have a centralized business plan. And then that's a high rate of consumption. So when that breaks down itself, right, when you have something that splinters like that, then that stops the centralized thing. This person goes here, this person goes here. And you have to have, it's like if Yeet was in a group before he was Yeet, right? And it's got the Yeet like levels. I'm talking about everybody's on Yeet like that. But it's Yeet and another dude, and then Yeet starts over. It's good, but it may not be as good as that. That thing was just so, and I'm just, the numbers, it's not me, TK. I'm just telling you from a business operation. So what I learned was you have to have 3 or 4 of those things. And that's a real hard job. So that's why you got to take your hat off to Coach K and P. Because to have a Yachty, to have Amigos, and then go into a Lil Baby at the same time, that's a very unprecedented run. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And to add other things to it, I was saying how we deal with people and how things are done. It's not done how, I don't do business like how I used to do business. I don't. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I feel like the whole conversation throughout this whole journey, we're not even getting into it yet, is you guys are able to adapt. You guys are able to keep your ears to the streets, understand what is going on, and quickly adapt. And I think that's where real success in this industry comes from, being able to adapt. With Shoreline, were you guys the ones that put out the Shoreline Do That Shit project?
That came out on R.Baron.
That came out on R.Baron. And how was that like whole experience?
It was crazy. It was a bunch of rebellious, young, full culture motherfuckers from taggers to gangbangers to whatever the fuck you can think of, every ethnicity in a small ass room for 3 days making history, not knowing history was being made, from doing your first show and selling it out fucking under an hour.
Right, that was at the Constellation Room?
Yeah.
When you saw that sold out crowd.
When you seen it and the energy of the crowd and, you know, just the whole culture of what was going on backstage, you know, to what was going on stage. It was very dynamic. That was a very dynamic night, bro. I'll leave it at that. It was so much shit happening that you couldn't even imagine, and it was like to me. I mean, he grew up listening to punk rock and all that kind of shit. He knows a lot of that kind of shit. But to me, it was like some punk rock shit, like some rebellious vigilante. Fucking vultures and fucking pirates, nigga. Right. It was a bunch of pirates on stage, and it was just, I don't know.
It was a bunch of pirates on stage, for real. Yeah. It's kind of cool because it's almost like a Travis Scott kind of a crowd that's listening to West Coast music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're mashing to West Coast music. It's insane.
And it was dark. You know, the music had a dark undertone to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ron. His production was just, it was kind of like, you know, it was unheard of, you know, minus the Sting Team was doing their shit. But, you know, like, Shoreline, when you listen to Shoreline Mafia, it's like, to me, it's like doing a dangerous house party. It's like you in a house party where this shit might get shot up. There's bitches here.
Yeah.
The homies over there passing out on some fucking balloon or some kind of drugs.
Yeah, that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood for real.
Real Hollywood shit. Like, I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't come to fucking Hollywood. I was down there, so I got to witness the east side of Hollywood, not the west side.
Exactly.
The east side.
I want to understand this. You guys got the Atlantic deal.
Right.
The Atlantic deal was huge, as decided to put out the Rob Vicious tape first. How did you guys decide that?
That was some, once again, being a fan of hip hop. So Rob came in, I would say, as the most almost self-actualized person in Shoreline. He had, Rob has lived in different places, and I just felt like he conveyed something that was really different. And at the beginning of any movement is always like, I would say like a Wu-Tang moment. When they went platinum, Raekwon was like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. Like, you ain't even got to tell me I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. Mm-hmm. I felt Rob was ready. But I knew that Rob wasn't necessarily ready to detach himself from the sound. So I'm like, why don't we do Shoreline Mafia presents Rob Vicious? And that was kind of like, if you look at Ghostface Killer.
Of course, yes.
And Raekwon, it was like, Raekwon's solo album was like Only Built for Cuban Links, featuring Ghostface Killer. To me, it was one of the greatest entries in the rap because it was flawless. You just came in, you rolled shotgun, and you got all his fans into you. Dr. Dre did the same shit with Snoopy. He just didn't say Dr. Dre presents Doggy Style. Right. Or it wasn't like that. Right. But if you look at G-Thing and you look at Chronic, it was Snoop riding shotgun. That was like his coming out party. Right. And with Rob, we wanted to do the same thing, and then we were all in the studio, and that biggest song as a group is Bands.
Exactly.
So Bands was recorded in the beginning of the Atlantic deal, the beginning of it, which was formed, and then we went to Atlanta to finish the second part. You know what I mean? And I'm not even like a producer by any means or A&R, but I know that was one of the moments where I knew we had to like capture that. It's just certain things, like P said, I'm a student of subcultures and studying, and I just knew that was going to encapsulate it. And if you go from Musty to that, it's like a growth. And even if you look at OGZ's solo career, that is definitely an extension, I would say, of Bands. He talked about getting his money, doing his thing. And if you look at Phoenix to a degree, you know, he's always talking about trying to get something. So I think, and you know, he got a single out right now in Atlantic that's doing crazy. I don't know if you heard it, and he's talking about like he don't want his daughter to see him as a pimp.
Oh, I love that record, bro. I just heard that
Apologies,
bro. Yeah. Apologies, bro. That record is so tough.
It's a very great record. I'm proud of. I'm actually proud of.
Like it's the growth, bro. Like I remember when bro was talking about some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
Shout out Phoenix, man. I really got a lot of love for Phoenix.
Yeah. He's out of everybody. I always felt like Phoenix was the true artist in the sense of he kind of like wore his shit on his sleeve. Right. Like how Nas does. You know, Nas will talk about just whatever he feel. You know, we was in Hawaii, and I remember him shooting a video for Fell in Love with the Drugs. Right. And I was like, damn, that's my favorite Phoenix song. Just it's such a level.
Hard record, man.
Yeah, it's just a level of purity. It's just ain't no cut to it.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with the drugs.
Shout out Ace of Face on that beat and on Bands.
Yeah, both of them.
Oh, damn, yeah.
Ace of Face actually, TK was in the studio and challenged all of them to do a song. He's like, man, y'all all got a fork. I gotta get on the record. Mm-hmm. So then we was what they call Traplantic now. They Rob kind of made that record and he coined, but yeah, they recorded that record that night, and Ace actually was the person who put OGZ as the hook and structured that song. It was just 4 niggas rapping straight. He actually structured bands. You know what I'm saying? And then on Fell in Love, he was very adamant about having that beat ride in the beginning for 8 bars of just no talking.
Straight up.
Faded in, just right, let the beat ride. So shout out Ace of Face on those 2 records. He made some really dope decisions.
Some executive producers stuff.
Yeah, he did. He produced those records. Real producer shit.
Wow.
You know?
So here's what I want to understand. The next album, which was, help me out, feature on that joint, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was that actual debut album.
The debut album. Yeah. Please remind me of
Business.
Mafia Business. Thank you. And why did it take so long to drop?
I don't think, like, we didn't look at it like that. So I know for me, just from a business standpoint, like what Picasso was about to go into, we went into OTXmas. We may have did a first party pack.
Yeah,
we did like 3 or 4 EPs. Leading
the party packs were crucial, bro. Like it gave those SoundCloud songs like a new life, and it gave people like, oh, they were doing this before Shoreline do that shit.
So, and then let me just, like, from a business point, I can give you a definite understanding point. Once you hit 1 million on SoundCloud, remember there's no marketing to SoundCloud at that time wasn't driven like how major marketing is with shit now. Let me give you an example. Like, they didn't have ads up on Instagram and Twitter and shit like that. The culture, it was a different set of people that owned SoundCloud then. SoundCloud was all about music discovery. So if you had 1 million fans over there, it was kind of like on its own.
Really, yeah.
It wasn't connected to DSP. So for us to go through and say, holy shit, all these records is platinum, they damn near like platinum on SoundCloud. Let's convert it. They had never done that. Atlantic had never done that. We knew they was going to work because these were also songs we were seeing.
Oh, you're giving real knowledge right now. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's just like what you was telling me, what you doing. Everything is super calculated.
Exactly.
And you learn from, once again, if you spend a whole lot of time on your ass, you should have a plan. You've been out the game for a minute. You fucked up. You should have a nothing but plan. So for us, we didn't look at it like it's taking a long time. We looked at it like we're preparing for this big album, and it's just in the preparation for that they broke up. So they broke up in the recording of that album.
Okay.
And when the album came out, they weren't even together as a group.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is, I mean, the album is fire. You know, you have huge features on this. It really made them look like, whoa, like this is real. This is really happening. At the same time, people wanted music. I understand there's probably some politics when it comes to, you know, Atlantic. You just gave them bands, huge record. They're probably like, we want the next one before we drop the album or something like that. But now, how did that experience with the group breaking up? How did that go with you guys?
You know, imagine you done all this work and then, you know, it just dismantles.
Right.
Now, mind you, COVID is happening. So the world is fucked up. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, there's some new disease going on and motherfuckers is dropping dead and you inside the house all day losing your fucking mind. You can't, ain't no touring. You can't even go outside between hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was an ill time in the world.
Yeah.
As you heard in the beginning of the shit, when I was real adamant about doing that skit where they walked into the liquor store, wear your mask. I ain't got no fucking mask. Fuck your mask. Like,
yeah.
That's the beginning of COVID, though. Right. Very uncertain time. Just the energy in the world was uncertain. So
you said that part?
No. I put that together.
Oh,
I was very adamant about doing that skit. I wanted to start because I wanted it to reflect the time of what was going on. Just like in the beginning of Shoreline Do That Shit, you have the news clip that just happened, and we broke that up and made that the narrative of the project. Like, every good project to me has a narrative to it. You know what I'm saying? So I was just real adamant about that shit and putting that in the beginning. But point being is, bro, like, the world was uncertain. So for some like that happened during that time frame, you know, I didn't look at it no kind of way. Like, there's already some weird shit going on. So
right.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Did it
come out the blue for you guys?
For sure. I mean, you know, everything leads up to something, you know what I'm saying? You know, they grew up together for a period of time in their lives, you know what I'm saying? So whatever their relationship was predates whatever the fuck me and TK came in on.
Yeah,
you know
or even know, to be honest, because they had conversations in rooms aren't in.
Exactly. So, you know, they had their own internal things going that, you know, they felt a certain kind of way. It had nothing to do with me and him or them. They just had to do with how they felt. So, you know, it was whatever. You know, like me, hey, man, my life, man, I keep going, bro.
Exactly.
We gotta keep going. We'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know.
I mean, your whole story up until this point is a testament to that.
Keep going.
So it only makes sense that, like, you know, we started this interview. You guys dropping all these important people in Los Angeles. It makes sense because you guys keep it moving. You guys keep it pushing. You guys know how to, again, adapt. And so I'm sure that was an interesting time. And I know that people want to ask this question. Me, I want to keep pushing, but I know people want to ask the question. Why did that happen? Like, why did they break up? From your understanding.
Man, just internal shit, man. They're brothers, and things that happen behind closed doors happens between brothers. That's just then. It's like you know, you don't air out your family business on. You know what I'm saying? It's just it was just shit that they had going on. You know what I'm saying? Internally, it was internal shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all. It's not really dynamic, bro. It's just some internal shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, and what's the relationship with you guys now?
Great. I talk to Phoenix every day. I just did some apologies. I would help him out. Shout out to Dre, who helps out with him too. And me and Phoenix talk 3-4 times a week.
Shout out to Rory.
Shout out to Rory with OGs.
Yep,
you know, he brought
shout out Rory.
You know, ASM Bobster just got brought out with OGs.
Yep.
You'll hear something on the album that I was instrumental.
My boy Jack was out there too for that too.
Like, man, listen, I talk to Rob all the time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Kato. Listen,
I know Kato mama. Like it's like
we know this. I don't know. We embedded with them dudes forever.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we did something that was monumental and changed everybody's lives.
Exactly.
We always gonna fuck with them. It has nothing to do with nothing. Like I don't feel no way about nothing. I still talk to them constantly.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you know, like even with your real family, you know, there's just always things that happen.
Right.
You know, that's just a part of life. You know, like I mean, you could never have beef with your mom and dad, but I don't think too many people in their 30s or 20s want to just really go back live with their mom and dad again.
Right.
It's not beef. It's just like I went to college. We was tight for a minute. I came back home, and now I got to say this. While we was going through this out here, Greedo was doing 4.5 years in jail, right? And catching COVID and, you know, fighting the system, going through what he was going through. And then, you know, ultimately, you know, Draco transitioned. He's not here anymore. So there are a lot of real life things. And even with that crew, there's a lot of people that's not here. Mac P-Dog left us.
Rest in peace.
Damn, rest in peace, Mac P-Dog, man. God damn, bro. What a good guy.
Man.
Fuck.
That shit hurt my heart, bro. I remember, I'm almost want to say it maybe not at the first meeting, but the first time we all got I ain't even talking. I mean, like, at the apartment up here in Hollywood.
Oh, for Shelly.
Yeah, the first
This one
time.
right here? By the Shake Shack?
Yep.
Yeah, we already know.
The first time everybody was together,
Yeah.
Mac P-Dog was there.
Exactly.
So we already, from the very first thing, I was always fucking with bro energy.
Exactly.
And then I remember when he did a show like Pete was saying, and the girls were screaming and going crazy. I'm like, this is it. And he did another show. And one of my best memories of the music business is Mac P-Dog flying in from out here to Rolling Loud to perform his song, because we assigned him to the Machine Works on Atlantic. He missed the flight. It was some crazy shit. P, remember he got there like at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we had all these rooms at the Fountain Blue, and I don't know how, like, if you ever been to the Fountain Blue.
Yeah, that's where I stayed there last time.
You know how if you up in the like 15th floor, 12th floor, whatever it is, bro, you can literally, if you next to each other, you can go balcony to balcony.
Right, okay.
I don't know if you go outside your balcony.
Right.
Walk over to the next balcony.
You can walk over to the next
I usually go
thing.
there because Liv is right next door, so I'm like,
come on,
I gotta
man.
walk on over there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
go
saying?
get lit right there.
Yeah, shorty, I'm next door. Baby, come through.
Come on, man. You know what I mean? So I just remember us having all these rooms next to each other, and bro coming in, and it was just wild, and girls being on the balcony, and bro putting his bags down, and it took him so long to get out there, because he had missed his flight and then got it. He was just so happy, man. And it was like 4 a.m. We had been moving around, and it was just it was excitement, man. It was just a beautiful thing. We had our good people from Detroit out there, Pootie and Neek, and just, it was like Detroit and LA and all these other things, and all the homies was there, and everybody was happy, and we was just going up. And that was one of my favorite memories, you know. And then being able to go overseas with this new rap, like you say that, like we did it in 17, and then 2 years later to be international. And not just like, oh, we finna go to Canada. I mean, like, we over Europe and New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, man. You know what I mean?
Rest in peace, Mac P. Actually, today's the day that he was taken from us. Actually.
Wow.
That's evil. Oh, sick.
Man,
you know what I'm
rest
saying?
in peace.
Rest in peace,
You know what I really respected about him was his homies are the biggest thing in LA. He was like,
whatever.
Right? And then on top, he was already cooling. You know what I'm saying? President of the OTX. But then when he put out that record with Phoenix, the Half and Half record,
Come on now.
Now everybody's listening like, okay. Right? He didn't, of course, bro, him and Jeezy are the homies before all that.
For sure.
So he didn't even lean on, yo, bro, shoot me that record. When their record came out too.
Come on now. He didn't. One thing about him, he's one of them natural cool niggas. He was the coolest niggas. I remember the first day I met him, when I really observed him, I'm like, this nigga's cool as shit. And I used to tell him, bro, you the coolest nigga. You got more influence than a lot of artists that I know. Just
straight up,
cool nigga. Like,
me too. I be telling him, yo, you were rapping before the rap, bro. For real, you were rapping before the rap.
And what I like about people that know themselves, they ain't tripping on nothing. He wasn't tripping on shit. He wouldn't give a fuck about what was going on. He was doing what he was doing. And that's what I respected about him. You know what I'm saying? And he was just more so about, just trying to make it. He was a cool nigga trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? And rest in peace to that dude. We miss him dearly. And rest in peace, Awful too. Awful was a rock star.
Man, shout out him too, bro.
A lot of homies, man.
These kids this is Hollywood, and as big of as Los Angeles is Hollywood. Like, we know each other and we know each other's homies and everything, and we've seen it all come together. To know that you guys, I want to say, I want to give y'all your flowers. Thank you. Thank you for giving Hollywood a chance to pop off too.
Yeah,
they understand us a little bit different now. They understand what you just said it right earlier, right? Like, I didn't even know what was going on over here. Now we know that dark undertone. That it sounded like a party that might get shot up. There's hoes in here, balloons going up. You know what I'm saying? The DJ off the Hennessy going crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it is. So I really
That's it.
I really want to thank you guys for helping us put that sound out.
That's all good.
Now, I also want to touch on, when Draco gets out, is he part of the R.Baron?
Well, Draco was on the phone with us for many years while he was inside. He had a relationship. Him and TK would talk all the time. Draco, actually, when he first initially got out, we was with the Sting team every day, and we was really help pushing the narrative of that. So you got to remember, he was only out for 30 fucking days. Right. He was only out when he got out of jail and did Cold Devil. He did that shit in a week. Put that bitch out the next week. I'm just meeting him for the first time. I remember Bambino. He was an instrumental dude in the Sting team. My hitman Bambino.
Yeah, shout out Bambino. Yeah,
shout out Bambino. So me and Bambino had a good relationship, and I had pulled up on a studio session. He was recording, and I had found out he liked Barry's Pizza. So I wanted to go get a lobster pizza.
Lobster pizza from Barry's, come on.
Barry's, you know what I'm saying? I had the GLE 63 at the time, and he had the GLE 43 before he went to jail. And I pulled up on him, and it was a bunch of niggas in the room, and I had the Barry's Pizza, and I was like, I heard you like Barry's Pizza, nigga. Yeah. He's like, yeah. He's part of the juice. He's so steady on the juice. He's just
he a scientist with that.
He's a scientist on the juice. I give him the pizza, and I'm just sitting there with them niggas. I'm just chilling. I know all the Sting team niggas. Right. I know Draco too. I mean, he gave me the records in jail. He did the freestyle of the phone and all that for the mixtape. So we already have a history. And while he's inside, he's hearing about Shoreline and Greedo. So he's coming out like, nigga, I went in, I was the nigga. Who the fuck is all these new niggas? Like, that's Draco, though. Yeah, so then the homies is like, nah, this is what's going on, bro. Like, this is the wave. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there and I'm chilling. And he got this beat on. This nigga's there. Everybody in there sipping their juice. That nigga high as shit. And he's like, they playing the beat on Naveen was engineering. And they playing the beat on
Naveen
repeat.
The brown dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with him too. Yeah, shout out him.
So then the homies he's falling asleep like this, playing this beat. I'm here for an hour. I'm like, bro, I'm about to get up out of here, bro. And then Vino's like, nah, man. I was like, this nigga just listened to this beat for 2 hours, man. I got shit to do. He's like, man, hold on, man. And then the nigga gets up. I'll never forget it. This is my infamous. It's my favorite Drake. It was one of my favorite Draco stories. He gets up. He's looking at everybody. How the fuck you niggas letting me sit here sleep? You niggas. He's stumbling to the booth, falling. And then they play the beat. This nigga does it in one take. I'm like, the most coldest is off one of the Cold Devil records. He does the shit in one take, literally. Then he walks out and I'm like, I'm about to go. And I'm like, Bambino, I was like, man, what a nigga rap? He's like, he's riding, get in his sleep, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So then, real shit. Then I go downstairs and I'll take Bambino back to the house and I pull up. and at the GLE, and he has the Bambino's like, bitch, you didn't tell me you had the GLE. He said, GLE, the same one as me. He said, this the 63. They say the 43. Then we smashed off. That was my first interaction face-to-face with Draco. From there, we was cool, man. It was cool.
It was up since then.
Man, it was up since then, man. And he did that Cold Devil shit, man. That shit have fucked over. That shit fucked everything up. That was a big CD that come out. That was one of the most monumental records to come out. Just as monumental as Do That Shoreline, Do That Shit, and Greedo's First Night Out. Like and them 3 motherfucking shits they fucked over everything. And I was there for all 3 of them to see it being created.
And it takes a lot of confidence to go away for this period of time, create a record in a week, and then drop it, and it be this hard.
It's hard, bro. I mean, you got to think about Greedo's First Night Out was done in 1 day, in 24 hours.
Right.
Every single song.
Right.
1 day. Him fresh out of jail, 1 day. Draco's Cold Devil. 4 or 5, like 5, 6 sessions at the most. The shit is done. Shoreline Do That Shit, 3 days.
Right.
These are 3 things that are done under a week that affect the culture forever. You know what I'm saying?
It's insane. So now the 03 and with 03 Greedo, I know that he was just trying to put out or start to create as much music as possible before he went in again.
Correct. Yeah, his whole thing was, I'm on the run. I don't know how long I'm gonna get. So these football numbers are crazy. And then I got Living Legend tatted on my face. I'm going to live up to the shit. And I'm going to record as much as possible. When I first met Greedo, the first thing I told him, the first words that came out of my mouth when I met this nigga was, if you can stay alive and stay out of jail, you'll be the biggest artist in LA history or California history. He was like, we got to do it fast. I'm on the run for 200 years right now.
Yeah.
That's what he told me.
I want to ask you about this. I'm sure you know a lot about this. What was the RJ03 Greedo? How did that come together? And because that was monumental, bro.
Yeah, that's the first verses.
It was for real, and it was if you know what's going on out here, it meant a lot.
For surely, it meant a whole lot. That's just Greedo and RJ going back and forth, and Greedo just being a very smart individual. Regardless of what's happening, he's gonna make it as big as possible. Greedo is one of the most innovative persons I've ever been around, and he turns a lot of his pain and misery and whatever he's living into. And it's like documented. He wears it on his sleeve. So, it was, he wanted to do that show, and shit, a lot of powers by B put it together. And actually, that the first show they did was on the hood day, where RJ's people's from and all that, where he's on his side. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. It was peaceful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was shit talking for sure.
Right.
But it was all the projects came out, They Hood came out, Spectators came out, and it was historic. So much so they did another night. 2 nights.
Yeah. That shit was historic.
And niggas made money, and that's what I'm talking about. It's not about all this sucker shit and trying to fucking downplay other niggas and beef with niggas and all this other dumbass shit. It's about getting some money. You can be with somebody you don't fuck with and still make some money.
Were you guys at
the festival where you passed?
Festival, yeah.
No, we weren't. We weren't at the festival.
Okay. Because how did that affect y'all when y'all heard about what happened?
It was just very unfortunate. It's just man, so much shit that happened before then. It's like, god damn, it's like just another thing that happened. Like, rest in peace, Draco. I seen him, come out and make history in a short period of time.
Right.
You understand? Like 30 days he did Cold Devil, then a year. I mean, shit, we dropped the independent record with Drake. Man, that's never happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
like, he did the OVO shoot with the Lakers shit. He got Don Toliver on his project, and he made history, man.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? Draco was lightning in the bottle. You know what I'm saying?
Lightning in the bottle.
Yeah. Greedo, lightning in the bottle. Shoreline, lightning is you don't really get 3 captures of lightning in the bottle.
Nah, you don't. You don't.
So, shout out to Draco, man. He lived his way, and one thing I learned about him is the power of no. That nigga said no to a lot of shit.
For sure.
He turned down a lot of money and didn't give a fuck about nothing. So I appreciate his resilience.
Respect. Timeline. Now, you guys have this huge catalog. How does after the Shoreline, after the 03, and after Draco, and after several other producers, Ace the Face, Ron. So what were the next few people that you were fucking with? You're like, okay, cool. I want to invest in these people.
AZ Chake, One Take J, signed to it. Mac P Dog, signed to it. Helping San Diego, helping Infant from the Jungles.
Wrestling.
That was our little bro.
Yeah.
Helping Band Gang Lonnie and putting our feet fully into Detroit.
What up, Draco?
Shout out Draco Bino. Shout out Sada, shout out Skilla, shout out the whole circle, shout out the whole East, shout out East Warren, shout out to the Remain Real family and the Remain Real tree. I'm trying to think, Mo Fago in Columbus, Ohio.
What up, Mo?
Global, D Goods in Nashville. What's my boy up in the Bay? Nigga, I'm that man. Nigga, I'm K.
What up, KE?
KE up in the Bay.
You know, during the I don't mean to cut you off, but during them touring times too, I think this is something that we touch on. Like, we sold out tours, bro, everywhere. And while we were on tours, we were really adamant about having people opened up and bringing people on the road. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people that are popping first tour was a part of or opened up or came out during these time frames when we was doing shows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that how the Detroit thing started?
For surely that started with bringing Lonnie on the road, Man Savage, TK.
Yeah, we had like I would say it came to fruition on the road, but as soon as, even before we got our deal, I was tapping back in with Detroit.
Right.
It was just getting, me and P actually, we didn't even say that, but one of our coming together things was that we both liked Doughboy's Cash Out. And that we were both fans of Detroit rap. So you got to understand, 10 years ago, Detroit rap was very underground. It's like saying right now, if I told you it's this crazy rap scene in Arlington, Texas, you'll be like, for real. That's how we was when we was telling people we like Detroit. And then maybe...
So at that point, it was pretty much like Big Sean, right? As far as like
mainstream
was, yeah.
But you had Doughboys Cash Out, you had Team Eastside, you had a lot of the major players now that was doing shit. They was doing shit back then, but it wasn't looked at like that. And I had to, like, when you say what else were you doing, Baby Smooth, Baby Tron, all them people came. Some of their first big shows was opening up for Shoreline and doing things that we was doing out there in Detroit.
Even more so too, like in Baltimore, Shorty Bitua.
Oh my God, man! I love Shorty's music, man.
Yeah,
hard.
very instrumental in helping bring that to the West Coast. Cypress actually was tapped in with him, and he opened up for the Shoreline show in the DMV area with ASAP Amp, who was there too, YG Addy. So, like, that's another record. We took Rucci on their first big tours. They were there. Kalen for real on the first tours.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, all these LA artists, bro, they just, the ones that are successful, this is my, from the outside looking in, and from the inside looking out, is the fact that these dudes have such persistence and hard work, and just, this shit is not easy. I'm sure at this point you guys can speak like for hours about this. This shit is not easy.
Nope,
people put out records every single day.
I just seen today 38 million records were released last year. They didn't get a spin.
I saw that too.
Yeah. 38 million, nigga.
Can you imagine, like, you put out the song and you didn't even listen to your own song?
Oof.
You know what I'm saying?
Sick.
Well, it's actually to, people might look at it like that, but what I look at it like, bro, there was a time when the music industry was dry as fuck between CD purchases, downloads, and ringtones, right? And then even in that era, we talking about blog rap. How were people were just consuming it as downloads, right?
Yep, I was definitely on SoundCloud to whatever, like making that shit an MP3.
So now it's like you have a system to do that, and that's another thing when you say what we were doing between that from 2020 to now. I had to relearn the rap game. I had to learn the independent game a new way. Oh, Peso, we help.
Shout out Peso, 6 Block.
6
Free
Block.
Peso.
Free Peso tells backwards. I really fuck with his music.
We put Peso, we put 6 Block out.
Yeah, I remember when Peso was walking around with just 2 big old Yada the Means on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to rap. I'm like, nigga, you rap, nigga. Go rap.
Yeah.
Like, do this shit. Like, go for it. So I remember when he first started recording. I remember he was recording in the studio time when we was fucking booking out.
Yeah. And same thing with you guys got Money Side Sway too.
Fuck yeah, Money
I
Side
knew
Sway.
that's how we know Peso through Sway. My first my first time meeting Sway, Peso was in there with the 2 Yosemite Sam strap. He had the big straps, and he was little. He was super small then with these big ass guns. Seen this big ass gun, I'm like, okay. And I went out there to HP to sit with him, and they had never had nobody from the industry be over there with him. And
shout out Gary.
Shout out Gary, and shout out Ryland over at, I just talked to Rylan on my way in here. Shout out Rylan. We had to learn the game again. And from an independent angle, Picasso had a situation and we had routed through the Orchard Sony. And we started putting out records. And Dolly Bernays.
Shout out to Chosen Few.
Chosen Few.
Is this and this is all going under the machine?
This is under Up and On one, which
This is Up and On one.
Wow.
Which is the Division of Peace thing, right? So, and then from there, we created another company called Money Core. And Money Core is the studio, and that's more of our regional rap. We wanted to have stuff that kind of speaks. Like R.Baron is so known for L.A. rap. We didn't really, and kind of like L.A. and Detroit, because we helped Detroit out. We don't have, the track record is really L.A., but, you know, Detroit is our second market. We love the D. And I wanted to have something to help Trub, to help my cousin and my brother Doc, who's been very instrumental in us putting out independent records and understanding all of the technical shit that I'm going to tell you about putting out independent records come from dealing with my brother Doc. Like, he studies this shit, and then I study it, and then I go to Trub or I go to Picasso. Then I have my cousin who runs the studio for us. So we wanted to create a company that was made for that. So that's Money Core. And then when we did that, we wanted to put out the Mofagos in Columbus, Ohio. We wanted to put out the Globe that just left. We wanted to put out anything that we wanted to put out that we felt that was more regional, right? And we started putting out tapes. Eventually, you know, we get to where we are now, where we have a solid core group of people independently. We put out a mixtape series. Shout out when we signed with 300 last year for ASM Box. We signed with Sparta to do distribution for a while. And we put out, I don't know how many, man, we put out 13 mixtapes. But more importantly, bro, we put out hundreds of songs in like a 9-month period. It's unheard of. We was putting out like 20 songs a month independently. So it goes into what y'all was saying about it's 100,000 songs put out every day. So everybody can't hear them. But I'm not in it for that. Like when we put out a record on Atlantic, it has to sell. When you put out a record independently, it doesn't have the same type of thing. What you need to do independently is understand your catalog and the power of it. So I understood that. You gotta remember, we coming from Platinum Records and understanding marketing meetings and all this. So we go from that to going to talk to the distributors themselves and understanding. So Peso, we put out 6 Block, that was tremendous. Then he went and did it there, because we not the people that's gonna hold you back or do something. If you want to do your thing, go do your thing. We don't have no problem. It's a part of, like, ultimately when there's a game, the numbers are put up, we put in a lot of scores on the winning team. So Peso took that and went to Empire, and that was a record, I say, that really blew up for us independently. And that was 2020. 2021 and 2022 was further understanding the game. The biggest record that came out for us in LA independently at first, but then got signed to a major, was ASM Bob. He put all that out on his own. We just came in as the management. So we've been able every year for 7 years to be attached to something. The year before that, it was Wiley with Scandalous. Scandalous was the hottest record in LA. And then, I'm just saying before. Yeah.
But that record was hard too, yeah.
03 Flow was crazy. And P got a whole story he can tell you on that, on how it was conceived and everything. But I'm just letting you know what our focus was. Jay West is a mastermind in business, understanding his section. They from the west side of Compton. So he was always been Wiley's day-to-day manager, the point person, and they brought us in to do the record deal and to help on certain things.
And then really, too, the bridging the gap between, I feel, what we did with Detroit and the West Coast was the Hell of a YS project. YS did a whole project that was produced by Hell of a, you know what I'm saying, which was a super dope project that got a little slept on, but it's a great body of work. And that was truly us bridging the gap between them two areas as well. That came in on that project.
Yeah, because you got Phoenix on there, you got Babyface Ray on there.
ESTG's on there.
You got ESTG.
Hot Boy.
Right.
You got, what's my boy from Beecher, the Crispy Life.
Crispy Life, Payroll Giovanni. Everybody's on that thing.
Yeah. So it's a real back and forth communication
Wally's
between LA and Detroit. And then because our boy Neek from Detroit was involved. Wally was in the D a lot, and he was traveling a lot. It's just a lot of like back and forth stuff. And then Wally and Mo Fago ended up going on the road with OGeezy.
Shout out Babyface Dev.
Yeah, and that was another great moment for us. You know, kind of going from that into 2022, which was last year. You know, saying what are we gonna do? Because at that point, I'm not really focused. When my major deals through management and then our imprint deal with Atlantic, those are standing deals. You want to do it again. So this year we've been able to just, I don't know, we're not even a month in. We 2-3 weeks in Greedo shit, and that's millions of streams. You know what I'm saying? And 33 tracks that you got to clear the producers and side artists, and we did that in 3 weeks. So like this was like, if everything was going to college, this was like graduate school, doing that, clearing that mixtape in that amount of time.
33 records, my goodness.
33 records in 3 weeks. You got to get all the producers and all the side artists.
A lot of work.
On the same page. You know what I mean? That's hard. I understand that. So now, does the music that gets released through you guys, or if you guys touch any bit of it, do you guys have any like final say when it comes to what records get put out? How does that work on the creative side?
You know, I always follow the artist's instinct. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to fight nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to empower. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even like how, like, Pete, not to cut you off, Pete, and let you do it. I think it's very, I think that's some bullshit that the industry on in regards to, like, creative control. How the fuck they creatives? Like, let a motherfucker create themselves. I think, like, for you not to let the artist guide you and tell you what to do is insane.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything to do. I actually fight a different fight than a creative fight. So I feel like the fight, like an artist creating something in their mind, bringing it to the thing and doing this and having their vision, I have to create an environment for them to do that, right? Like it might be something going on with an artist that I'm dealing with today, and a label or somebody else might be like, can they do this or that? As a manager, I have to say, no, they can't, because these business things haven't been fulfilled. It may not be the other people's business, but it may not be their fault that the business is moving like that, but ultimately, that's my job. So when P is saying that, P is very, super good. He's like one of the, I would almost compare him and the homie Brock Marciano, who great A&R and work with a lot of great people. They have like a Zen-like effect with street rappers in the sense of, they just kind of let them create, and then they go in and just enhance, just not pulling the button or taking nothing out. Sometimes it's just as simple as a conversation or a playback. So we're always here to translate and enhance what somebody else does. I don't think we've ever had a major release or independent release that we were in opposition against. I think it's just working. You got to figure out, like, you guys said something, I think this is very important. In the age of AI and what's going on with so much music being released, what the fuck do you do when 100,000 songs are put out a day? Like, what are you really doing? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't care nothing about what you putting it. Like, now to put an album out, just say you was an artist and you put an album out. And I know that. I work with RXK Nephew. You familiar with him?
Of course.
Yeah, so it's
part of our studio, one of his biggest projects.
Yeah. I helped him and we helped him as a team at the studio. It's so, I'm trying to just think of all the different things that we've had, but in putting them things out, you have to let the music kind of, like, you can't put, like, he put a lot of music out to establish his crowd because that was his style. I wouldn't say that somebody else who can't do that should do that. We're not cookie cutter. Like, labels are actually cookie cutters because they have to be. It's like Bank of America gives you a cookie cutter loan. It's not specific to like, hey, you got you got an 800 credit score, but you went to jail for 10 years. So we can't negate that you went to jail for 10 years. You don't have employment, and you got a 850 credit score now, whatever. Nah, they have a cookie cutter. So in the labels, it's the same thing. P and I don't have that. We like you would like the artist put it out, and we go with it and let it go. Sometimes I might not even agree with it, but I let it go because if it's signed to a major, remember, I got another set of things that I have to do on it.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing that I respect about both of y'all answers is the fact that there's a whole, like, artists don't understand there's a whole battle outside of the music that needs to be fought when you're trying to become successful in this industry.
Come on,
and
man.
if you don't have the right people fighting for you, and if they're worried about your songs as opposed to how do I get this through this door to this person so we can get on the editorial for this, you know what I'm saying? All XYZ. Listen, as great as Kobe and Shaq were together, you need a Phil Jackson to put the pieces together. And I feel like the way that you guys have helped all of these artists comes down to the fact that you guys are able to understand this is where I bring value.
And I love how you said that's a great analogy, because Phil Jackson was a player, and he also, like, when you win with a team, right? I'm just saying a team of, like, who, I ain't gonna lie, bro. If you got Kobe and Shaq and you not winning, you fucking around.
yeah.
Right? So, I mean, we had to win with the people that we were with because they were that talented.
Right.
Now, can you do it without a Shaq? Can you do it without a Kobe? And what do you learn in between the next Shaq and Kobe? See, that's what I'm saying. What do you do? That's what I'm learning now. When you say legacy, like, okay, we know, like, I'm trying to think of somebody in y'all generation that I could say just like the ultimate producer, pop. I'm just saying pop, not even like how I used to have Timberland and Justin. No, like Justin Timberlake and Timberland used to be.
Yeah.
Or, like, I'm just saying that, like Michael Jackson and fucking Quincy Jones. Like that thing that's like, woo, like you just said, Shaq and Kobe and fucking Phil Jack. Like those things, when you remove I saw Quincy Jones before Michael. I was a little kid. I ain't making it seem like I knew shit or nothing. But if you listen to, like, the period of Off the Wall to fucking Beat It, Thriller, man, that Michael Jackson grew tremendously in that 3-year period. And to be honest with you, bro, he never grew musically beyond that. There's no way sometimes there's so much growth in something that you can never you can't compare Bad and Remember the Time. They fired, like, ain't nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't compare to them two bodies of work. It's insane to do that. So I have a way of looking at music where I need #1 records, and we need to do Uncharted. I feel like Roddy Ricch is responsible for a lot of stuff that he doesn't get credit. So if we talk about it, we're talking about left of center, and we're talking about doing things our way. When you talk about Roddy Ricch, you're talking about somebody who did it his way, using sound. So the sound beds, all of us have access to it. You can't make a box unless you can have all the sounds in that record and not know how to execute it. Like to me, Roddy Ricch has the purest voice when in modern music. To me, that's just to me. My ear, his sense of melody, the tone, the way he rides a beat, it's amazing, man. So it's more than just him, like how people see it. It's all those things together. So I just know if somebody because we have songs that come out every day, bro, independently, and we don't promote it and say this is R.Baron or this is that. It's not even about, at this point for us, it's only about when it generates. And sometimes there are things that have generated and we've been a part of it. It's a couple of artists that are signed now that I'm helping. It's a couple of platforms that I'm helping. I don't think that it's necessary for me to say what it is because it hasn't reached the level I want it to reach.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But
I respect
millions of people fucking with it though. Don't get it fucked up. Millions of people fucking with it, but it's just not at that level where I want to just go on the record and be like, that's it.
It's this.
Yeah.
Here's something that there's so many things that we've talked about today that I would love to pick y'all brain about. I do want to ask a question that I know a lot of artists that listen to I Told You So and listen to everything that we got going on. The question, what does it take? I want the both of y'all to answer this one. I do want to ask a question that I know a lot of artists that listen to I Told You So and listen to everything that we got going on. The question, what does it take? I want the both of y'all to answer this one. What does it take to be a successful rapper today?
I kind of feel it's unexplainable, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like, to me, there's so many ways to be successful that it's not necessarily like a one thing. It could be something that's a quick snippet on the internet that blows a nigga up to TikTok that makes him have a successful record that blows up overnight. It could be somebody that's talented, that's a pure MC and a rapper that's in the underground. I mean, it's too many levels to it. So I don't think it's one thing. I just think you gotta just be dope and you gotta just have something going, some kind of motion. Like it's no handbook to this shit. And there's no fairy dust. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah.
And before TK goes on, the conversation we had when I had asked you, oh, like how do you find new music today, right? And you were like, yo, it's different when someone shows me their music and when
I find it.
You find it. You know what I'm saying?
It's different when somebody like I don't think I gotta even have a story of somebody like bringing me something like, hey bro, check my music out. You know, a lot of things are discovery. You know what I'm saying? Females are definitely a discovery on my. Females put me up on a gang of shit. Or I just hear about it, or I hear it, or I see it. You know, it was like if it's making noise or if it's dope, it's gonna come across my path.
Exactly. You know and what about you, TK? Like, what do you think at this point? What does it take to have not only success in this industry as a rapper, but a level of longevity too?
I can't even speak online. That's how crazy it is right now. I don't even know if you can even speak fully on longevity right now.
Right.
Because I just don't know what that's going to look like. Right now, you got to have something that pierces through those 100,000 songs. So I think the illusion is you get an editorial playlist. Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's better to have the out. So what we have now is something that I know we've shout out my brother Doc. It's something that we've coined, call them algorithmic driver. That's why I say I don't really want to get in it, but I'm gonna give y'all a list. So an algorithmic driver is when you put out 2 to 4 songs, right? Because remember, it's 100,000 songs a day. So you want to be in a suggested playlist. Like, you something, and then a new song come. I'd rather have that than be on
playlist
because nobody knows you and they're not going there for you. It's just a look. It's a great look. It equals 5 to 6% of your stream.
That's it.
Now, you listening in your car to Apple Music, Spotify, and putting something on and listening to that song, and before you can say, hey, who was that? That's cool. And that going on simultaneously across the world. Mm-hmm. So say that happens to 1 million people. This is how you start determining how good your music is. If it's 1 million people and you only got 11,000 doing it,
might not be that hot, brother love.
Might not be that hot. Now, if it's 100,000 and it's 100,000 in your area, might be the dude. See what I'm saying? So it's all these things that we are in uncharted territory. Right. So you gotta study. I study every day. So
I can tell, man. I can tell by the way y'all talk, like y'all study.
You got to. It's your money. This is how you gonna make money. It's like it ain't a bad thing. It's a good thing. Like I'll be with my lady. We be up at night in the bed. She be like, "Damn, baby, you done fell asleep with the phone in your hand. You fall asleep with the laptop." Because I'm learning all these ways of different things, and this is us. Like what's great, and you can say this, P. We can say this, and this is in all honesty. I think my marketing plans with my internal team are better than our corporate partner. Now, what our corporate partners do have, and we have some motherfucking amazing corporate partners. Atlantic is the best at working a fucking record. It's just, I feel like if they believe in you, they're gonna work it. It's not like it just comes out. Alamo, my opinion, they are the best at goddamn setup. I don't think anybody is better than them setting up a record. I think Rod Wave and Little Durk are proof that they can set up a record. And Y&J, the Coochie Man record now, not the Coochie, the Perk Sex. I think they're just amazing at catching that. So what we want to be known at R.Baron is to be able to help. Like I said, some of our good people now. It's not so much about records. Remember, the records are going. I'm ultimately telling you, it's sad, but it's the truth. They're gonna work or they're not gonna work. Sometimes it's a long haul work where you put so much product out that product goes through. And then sometimes it's one song that the right person hears at the right time. And that person has so much influence, whether that's the TikToker or whether that's somebody that has the platform doesn't always have to be digital platform. It's not. Like, I'm just giving you an example with Bob. Bob started streaming hundreds of thousands of records in Long Beach. And I'm going to be honest, he really wasn't saying nothing that was super gang-banging on the song that blew him up, but it was the way that it was spelled. Right. And the way that it was spelled let a certain part of town know he's one of us. And they didn't know. I remember talking to the label, and they like, he getting streams in this part of town. And I'm like, yeah, I know why. You know what I'm saying? But it's those little things that's the industry that we live in. Right. So I don't know, man. I feel like you got to have the children are the future. They the greatest. They the best part. So see what a 15-year-old is doing. See how they consume music.
Exactly.
See what an 11-year-old is doing. See how they consume music. See what the seniors that are graduating from high school right now, see what they up on. All this shit is going to put you into a level that you're not going to believe. You know what I'm saying?
Man. So, I mean, again, bro, there's so many things that I want to ask you. Like, there's like so many ways I want to, like, what does it take to this? And then, so you have to keep the ears to the young people. My next question for y'all is, going forward right now, well, actually, let me do something a little bit more fun. Who are your favorite artists right now that you guys don't work with? Because I know y'all call, you'll be like,
Kwani.
Yeah, OT7 Quantities. I don't know, man. I work out so many motherfuckers.
Right.
Finesse 2 times. I've been on him since before he went to jail. I've been actually a big fan of his for 7 years.
Yeah,
I
shout out
fuck with
Finesse.
I fuck with V's and Lucky. I be on that kind of wave, heavy.
Yes, yeah. You know, you give me super, like, it's not like I ever met the dude, but like, you know how ASAP Yams was really like in tune with the streets?
That's a friend of mine.
Yeah, boom. Like, he was just so in tune with the streets. You give me this, like, your whole perspective on music comes from I need to hear it outside. I should be hearing your song from this window,
Right.
for me to even understand what's going on. So I really respect that.
D Baby from Houston. That's who's Kodak Black was all on today. Shout out to Cena. That's my man's with D Flower down. Cena put out D Baby. He's hard. He's really gonna have a big one this year.
Shout out Big Sad 1900. That's my homie too.
Oh yeah, shout out Big Sad.
I did the Misunderstood remix with Greedo coming out soon. I'm directing the video too.
DTE, Lil Day Day.
What up, Lil Daddy? Shout out Russ.
Shout out Russ. That's our good people in Florida. Lil Tyler. Man, I love that kid.
Tyler, yeah, exactly.
Tyler hard as shit.
I love that kid.
Yeah, I'm speaking with his peoples. Hopefully we land him. I like the fact that
You talked to Mateo?
Yes.
Tell Mateo, yeah, shout out. That's our little bro.
Yeah.
Put me with Cash Cobain early though.
Fire.
Exactly. You know, something I really respect about young kids and them making music these days is they're doing it on their phone. Lil Tyler
Bro,
is
it's
like
so much fun. It like
he just went on BandLab on his phone.
That what I love is that it's so nonchalant when you really get it, right.
It's like whatever.
It's like whatever, right? But I like Offset Jim in the back. Yep. I like him. I like Owe down in San Diego.
You know, I want to work with. I've been a fan of since day one. He's major now. Don Toliver. Don Toliver's last album is mind blowing, incredible. Don Toliver's the shit. I would love to work with Don Toliver to see what I can add or just be around some shit.
Sauce Walker.
Sabibi. I fuck with Sabibi. Super tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? CEO Trail. I fuck with him. Super tough. I be in all kind of ways.
Yeah, Trail is hard. I like him. P put me on him.
Shout out Head.
He's hard.
Yeah, I want to check out all these dudes. I want to understand what is the game plan for the future for not only R.Baron but all the sub companies that you guys are really pushing in all directions.
I would say like for us, so everybody got a phone and then everybody has these apps, right? So for us is to have something that we getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars a day, right? What when you think of rap or you think of like what's the one thing that everybody's using every day? We don't have like a centralized thing anymore, right? So another thing that like I don't know what it is. Like I'm being honest. I know I want to have a restaurants, but I don't want to have restaurants in the sense of how people got restaurants now. The best shit I ever seen in my life is In-N-Out. Just efficient. They only serve like 10 items. You don't go in there and say, "Oh, yes, I'd like a burger latte with a shot." And they get the fuck up out of here, bro. We finna cook this burger. You can get it animal style, onions, but that's it. We don't even got the shit that you want. That's it.
Take it or leave it.
Burgers and fries. No chicken nuggets. No chicken sandwiches.
Milkshakes and sodas.
That's it. Sodas. No apple pies.
Yep.
None of that shit. The whole, and if you really break it down,
that pink lemonade slaps.
I'm gonna give you two things real quick. When you say what we doing, I'm finna fuck your brain up. Both of y'all, your whole life. When you go to any fast food restaurant, like fuck your feelings and what you talking about. That shit is a science. They got everything broken down into how your food's supposed to come within a minute, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. They do that. So imagine what AI technology is going to do now. There's not going to be any more. We don't need a motherfucker right here.
Exactly.
Everything is on your phone. Yeah, it's right then and there. They're going to be playing your suggested music. You're going to have your own app already set up. You're going to go here. You're going to do this. You're going to put and it's going to say, hi, Picasso. And then it has your music in the back. And then it has, hey, Picasso wants to hear Kwani playing. And then it plays that. If you're not thinking of ways to monetize like that, you fucking around. Right? And it's a new way to do it. And then how do you own that? See, that's why they want everybody to sell a catalog. Because music is going to be the most integrated thing that's just going to be there. Right? And if you don't own your music, you fucked up. You're just going to be like, it's no, like people like, oh, no, it's not, bro. People not finna die. It's not going to be no one thing that just takes everybody. And humans not even designed to everybody to die at the same time. We not. Some shit hit this room right now. I'm not looking to see if you, nigga, I'm trying to stay out of the way. Yeah. It's just how humans are designed. So for us to get paid off of something music-based, and shout out to me, one of the people that I look up to is Rihanna. Rihanna was the first person of the hip-hop generation not to sell liquor to be a billionaire. She didn't have to sell no liquor. Yeah. She didn't have to sell no weed. Now, I'm pretty sure she's drunk her amount of liquor and smoked her amount of weed. But she wasn't, like, Rihanna's ascent into being a billionaire wasn't about the Rihanna liquor. And most of the hip-hop guys, they had to do that. They took the sacrifice. Shout out Puffy, shout out Jay-Z, shout out 50 Cent. They took and Kanye. They took certain type of hits. Yeah, Kanye didn't do it with any liquor, too. But the reason why I say, cause Rihanna has totally created an identity of a brand outside of her music. That's why she's the greatest to me. Outside of that.
Remember this too?
Yeah.
I was talking to him about, my whole understanding of business is business that has a face attached to it will always fail. And as soon as you can separate yourself, you can allow that business to live a life of its own.
So Bezos, he created Amazon. Walt Chosnick, they used to be with Steve Jobs at Apple.
Right.
They had something outside. That's why we don't do a lot of, we not out in the front.
Exactly.
It's not about us. People be like, I heard your name. You want your reputation to precede you, especially in this age. For sure. So as everybody demands something, you become the person that doesn't demand that. Personal experience is going to be at an all-time premium. I don't know what the fuck that looks like in our retail space right now, because we can just look right here. Nobody's at full capacity at any kind of retail space. But what are you selling? As we say that, you can go to any white suburban place and they selling yoga shit. Everybody got yoga shit. Everybody want it because it's the experience of what yoga means, right? So how do we translate? We have to have more value on the experience of music. You got to have more people that are black and brown and that are original people that say, hey, bro, fuck that. This is worth some money. I'm not selling my catalog. Fuck that. We're going to come together and do this. If you have to do that, if you're not doing that, there's no sizable amount of power shit. And motherfuckers always going to do at the end of the day, they're going to be like, hey, son, look, bro, we got $45 million. You can take it or leave. I ain't even got time to sit up here and argue with you. Right. That's what it is. So and when you look at YouTube and you look at podcasting and you look at these things, there are definitive groups that own these things. It's not up for debate. Absolutely. I don't want to argue with you, bro. I want to make money with you. My shit has never been for sale. I'm here to make money. We here to make money. That's you said that by Lil Tyler. They on their phone. I'm here to make money like Lil Tyler, millions of dollars. If Lil Tyler is doing this and he sticks at it, what do you think he's going to? Drake, that's what people don't get Drake. Drake was Lil Tyler. He stayed at it. Lil Wayne was Lil Tyler, but people wanted Lil Wayne to be more than what he was. Lil Wayne always wanted to enjoy rap. That's what he wanted to do. He's an artist. He's a rapper's rapper. But as a rapper's rapper, look at what he brought it. He brought you to Nicki Minaj. He brought you to Drake. He brought you the greatest, most streamed artist of this generation.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big credit that I give to artists at that level is really the type of artists that make me fall back in love with hip.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you hear that person, you're like, wow. Like, when I hear, even it can be someone super on the ground level, a Baby Stone Gorillas, shout out my boy Fat Jack. when you make me re-fall in love with hip hop, I love hip hop. I'm not going nowhere from it.
Right.
When you remind me again, this is why I like it.
Come on, man.
Come on now.
You speaking it, because that's really what it is. And what if you have that discovery rate every day?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that we don't look at. So it's just it's only so much game I can give on the thing. It's just you just gotta keep watching. You just gotta remember we haven't went anywhere in these years, and we're not in it for Picasso and I with the daily exchange of energy, and with Trub and I with the daily exchange of energy. My daughter doesn't know anything but her dad being in the music. That's all she knows. She doesn't care. She does I'm not regular. You know, her friends, they see me pull up in certain things, go to school. She live in this part of town. Like, I've been able to do that off of this. So now to even go 100 steps further than and say, nah, man, we the ones that really crossed the finish line and rap like this. All of the odds have always been against me, so I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. If nobody around me sees it or understands, it doesn't matter. As long as I have the content. The content is the most precious thing. So what somebody else thinks is a failure, man, you could take the same song maybe 6 months from now, a year, 2-3 years, and the motherfucker becomes the biggest thing, period. Because that's what TikTok has shown. I think the power of the last 3 years was TikTok being able to show us that. But just like anything else, we all have access to the same data. So motherfuckers is not, it is what it is. So I'm trying to get something. I will into existence every day, and I strive every day to have something where we look at our phones and we made $100,000 today. I made $200,000 today. Yeah.
So and then Picasso, right now, where do you see? Because and I'm sorry, the company that you're heading up
and on one.
Up and on. So what is the future looking like?
I mean, I just like putting out dope records, bro. It doesn't matter if it nigga has 10 followers or 1 follower. If I would just put it out. It's very free. It's very free. It's not like hella. It's kind of like, hell, let's put it. Let's see what happens. Right. And then 10, 20 years from, you're gonna look like, damn, you put that out. Damn,
exactly.
That's it.
We're talking about it right now. It hasn't even been that.
It's real.
It's real simple. The formula is simple. The things that you have to input into that formula might not be the easiest thing to do.
You know what I'm saying? With structure and repetition, things get put together.
I wanna close this interview again. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today and dropping some real gems for us. Yeah. I think I love music. I love LA music. I'm from Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
If someone hasn't told you guys before, you guys do mean a lot to us, and the artists that you guys are representing is our language, is our people. They're the people that get to tell our stories on a day-to-day, and that's what we listen to. Yeah. So from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate all the work that you guys have put in up until this point, and I'm only excited to see what keeps going on. Man, you know what I'm saying? We're already locked in. I'm already peeping who you guys got going on. I'm like, yo, this is the future. For sure. You guys represent the future. You guys represent what we can do and how to adapt in this ever-changing hip-hop game, hip-hop industry.
Yeah, that, man. Everybody, man, don't give up. Keep going, bro, because that's what niggas did. Niggas kept, and you keep going and being persistent, you'll have your shot. Don't let no sucker shit, punk bitch, ever stop you from doing nothing. Keep going, keep grinding, and you'll get. Exactly.
TK, you got some closing notes for us?
Yep, I wanna tell everybody out there to continue doing what you're doing. As Picasso said, never give up, and more importantly, man, take every no as an opportunity. Like it's been some crazy times for me, just dealing with family and issues, and it still won't stop me. Remember, bro, there's no retirement. Bosses don't retire.
Facts.
We work for the rest of our lives.
Yep.
You actually happy the older you get because you better at it. You understand the mistakes you made, exactly. Right? So you want to get better at something, right? And you're at a time when technology is taking you to other places. I want to say to all the black kids is in the ghetto, all the brown kids is in the ghetto, all the original kids in the ghetto. Do something that the people before you didn't do. You don't have to, they lied to us. They lied to me and they lying to you right now. Get you some money, get the best part of where you can live at, get the best cars, eat the best food, put the best things in your body, and be around the best people for you. And then for the older people and for the power system, you got to deal with what the fuck you did. You got to deal with your shit. And a lot of y'all are never going to deal with it. But remember, you got to deal with it. And all I can say, man, R.Baron, we going to get some money to the end. If this motherfucker blow up in his spaceships, I'm going to be in a spaceship getting some bread.
Come on.
Yee!
Yeah. Yo, we here, man. We here. Yo, it's Big Guafine. You are listening to I Told You So. Don't act like I didn't tell you when I see you. And we out.